Hey y'all, so I saw this and I had to give y'all my 2 cents. The post said, I could really use some advice right now. So my husband and I are currently living with my in-laws. My father-in-law is a pastor and we pay $600 in rent every month. Plus we tithe towards the church, another $600. I'm the oldest of 10 kids and my family lives off of one income. They very often don't have the money for food, even with EBT. So I suggested that instead of tithing towards my father-in-law's church, we could give our tithe towards my family. My in-laws aren't hurting for cash, and I feel like my family could use it more. How would you handle this situation? All right. First off, I don't play with God's tithe. Bring it all into the storehouse, right? You're supposed to bring your 10th, give your tithe to God. That ain't up for negotiation. That's not, oh, I'm going to give it to my family because it's to help people. You give it to God. You give it where you're being spiritually fed. So if this is the church that you are attending and that you say is spiritually feeding your soul, then that is where your 10% belongs. It doesn't matter that it's your father-in-law's church. It doesn't matter that they are not hurting for money. It ain't got nothing to do with them. It's because you and your relationship with God requires you to be obedient to what his word says. And his word says to put 10% in the storehouse, which is the church where you are being spiritually fed. So if you do not want to put it in that church, then maybe you need to find another church home that is a Bible teaching church and believing church that you can then feed from and then put your 10% there. But bringing the 10%, bringing him his 10th into the storehouse is not up for option, negotiation, discussion, bartering. I'm gonna put it here instead of there. I've been there, done that. It ain't work. That ain't what you're supposed to do. Tithing is the one thing that God said, test me in this. Test me in this. So you're being tested, ma'am. Don't play with God's tithe. As for your rent, I don't know what that has to do with the price of rice in China. It's 2025. Who can pay $600 in rent anywhere? I paid $625 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment for me and my daughter, and that was about a decade ago. Over a decade ago. Okay? Ain't nobody renting nothing for $600 no more. Nothing. It's a blessing. And the fact that your tithe is $600, that means that you make $6,000. So that means you have $600 in rent, which is only 10% of your take-home pay. You have $600 for your tithes, which is another 10% of your take-home pay. So you now have $1,200 going out. You have $4,800 to live on. Most people have to give at least 30% to the church. I mean, to their home. So in housing, you don't have to do that. So that means you have an extra 20%. 15 to 20% that you can freely give that would have normally went towards housing, but doesn't have to go towards housing because your in-laws are gracious enough to let you live with them at your grown age because you're grown enough to be married. They are gracious enough to let you live with them. And that means that you have enough where you could do $600 for rent, $600 to the Lord Jesus Christ first and foremost, and you can still get $600 to your family. And you still got $4,200 left to do whatever you want to and go off, sis. So let me know how y'all feel in the comments. And if y'all have questions that y'all want me to answer, drop them. I'll answer them. I'm going to answer it real. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to always say what you like to hear, but I'm going to be honest at all times. So drop what you got to say, what you think in the comments below. Drop any questions you may have, but the nerve. The nerve. I'm not with it. All right.